Our guest today is Jim Parkman. This was a huge case. I mean, this was the fourth largest accounting fraud in the history of the United States.
The CEO of HealthSouth, the Fortune 500 healthcare company.
Ferrari Enzo was nearly obliterated in the high-speed crash along the PCH.
Zenvo, ST150S.
He went from being on the Real Housewives of New Jersey.
Only going to make 3 for the United States.
I'm Bobby Khan, former exotic car dealer turned #1 FBI's most wanted fugitive.
Generally, when you look at the law, 90% of the time it's against you.
The FBI put a $20,000 reward for information into his arrest.
Bobby Khan scammed super rich customers at a New Jersey car dealership.
Join myself and James Parkman, my attorney and best friend, as we have cars, courts, and conversations.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of Parkman Khan Unleashed. That's Jim Parkman. I'm Bobby Khan. And today, Jimmy, I'm going to let you take this one. How about that? You got something to talk about?
Well, okay. I really wrestled with this for several reasons. But I think the message needs to be out there. So here's what I want to say. A year and a half ago, by a miracle from God, led me to a doctor who sent me for a CAT scan, and that CAT scan, they were looking for a kidney stone. Instead, they also found a spot on the pancreas, turned out to be pancreatic cancer. So I went through surgery, I went through chemo. You know, the message I'm trying to get over to you is, I think that I want people to know is, as far as I'm concerned, okay, there's no doubt in my mind that this was a miracle from God. There's no doubt in my mind. Now, the reason I say that, you can say, well, it was a coincidence, you had the kidney. I've never had a kidney stone.
Yeah.
I happened to go to a doctor because I didn't have any pain medication, and kidney stones are painful. But
Yeah,
what's really interesting about this whole story is, I went to the doctor on a Thursday morning to get pain medication. And by the way, the only thing I could say while I was in the doctor's office was, medicine, give me medicine. Okay.
Kidney stones are a joke.
He sent me for the CAT scan that afternoon. Friday he calls. Now he gave me a prescription, and I'm taking pain medication through the night, and even in the next morning I'm taking it. Yep. I mean, it was painful. Everybody that's had it knows. So anyway, the next morning I get a call about 9 o'clock in the morning, and that's when the doctor says, Jim, and I go, hey, how's the kidney stone? He goes, don't worry about the kidney stone. What we have is a problem that the technician saw on the pancreas. And he said, yeah, I love this. I love the way doctors do this. So he said, Jim, what we're going to do is, it could be a blur on the screen. It could be whatever. Could be a cyst. I don't know. I'm sending you for an MRI. Give us a better look Monday morning. Don't worry about it all weekend.
Now, let's stop you there for a second. Lawyers and doctors are the worst. When I was going through my case, the worst thing was Friday at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, the lawyer would call you and say, you know what, I just got this phone call, and now we have to do this. I'm like, you have to tell me today? Now my whole weekend is shot because waiting for Monday. Yeah. Or I have to talk to you on Monday about something important. Why don't you just talk to me about it now? And the doctor, the same thing. It's
but what the second miracle was that night around 6 o'clock that night. My concern was, oh no, I don't want
your pancreas.
Pancreatic cancer is a killer. I mean, there's no warning signs. There's nothing. No pain, no blood. No, you die. You die. Okay. So my next concern all afternoon is, do I tell my wife?
Oh, she didn't know.
No, I didn't tell her.
Oh.
Now, wait a minute. I'll come back to that. But at 6 o'clock that night, all of a sudden my brain goes, wait a minute, Jim. Ever since the phone call this morning about the pancreas, you haven't had any more pain with the kidney stone.
That's it.
You haven't taken any pain medication.
Yeah. The alert.
What happened? I hadn't gone to the bathroom, so it hadn't passed. So what happened to it? And I'm there at 6 o'clock going, my gosh, this is a mystery without any clues.
It was God putting on a check.
It was God. It was God. There's no other way. There's nothing other you can say. There's nothing.
Yep.
All of a sudden it was gone. Now, going back to the funny story about the wife, I waited until after the MRI because I thought I don't want to worry her. Now that to me is important.
Yep,
I found out that's not important. Okay. And so the next week when I told her,
oh, you waited a week to tell her.
Well, I waited till Wednesday till I got the MRI results back.
Okay.
And they were like, yeah, there's a spot there and we need to do something about it and yada, yada. And then I told her, and she of course, how long have you known? That's the worst question you can ever ask a man. How long have you known? And, I said, well, I knew last Friday morning. What? And I got it.
Yeah.
But I really did it because I if it came back something, I didn't want to worry. I didn't want to worry the family or anything else.
Well, I get that, okay, because I'm the same way. I don't like doctors. I hate doctors as much as I hate prosecutors. Just my thing, right? So I have this thing in my face, in my head right now. It's been going on for years. And, sometimes I'll get to the point where it looks like I'm having a stroke, but I'm not. It's just this whole thing acting up. And my wife is like, I hide it from her as much as possible. Yeah. But lately she's got to the point where she's picked up on it, and now she's like on me. You got to go to the doctor. You got to go to the doctor.
Got to do this. Got to do that. Well, that is true. And I'm a little different than you. I was very thankful for my doctors. And number one, I was very thankful for the general practitioner I went to see. He had enough sense to send me to get a CAT scan, whereas he could have said, let's just wait, and if it didn't go on in a week, come back and see me, and then it would have been, it would have gone away by then, and then I never would have had a CAT. I never would have known today I'd be dead. So it's amazing. It's amazing to me the sequence of coincidences, if they really are. I don't think they are. I think that sometimes, I had to listen. I had to listen to my doctors. I had to listen to them, and there was no way around it.
Everything happens for a reason.
It does.
Everything happens for a reason, and I think God, a lot of times you ask people, people say, well, why didn't God help me during this? And that, and but He really did, if you really sit back and look at it. And I'm guilty of this as well. When I was going through my battle for 10 years and everything, I questioned God. And I said, God, why aren't you helping me? And now that I sit back and I look, and I'm like, you know what? If this didn't happen, my life wouldn't be what it is today. I wouldn't have met the people that I met. I wouldn't have experienced what I did. And I wouldn't have become the father and the husband that I am today if it wasn't for all this.
Well, and sometimes we don't realize the miracle that's coming. Sometimes we only look at it, from the bad standpoint and not from the good standpoint. Now, I went through, don't get me wrong, it was miserable. Surgery was miserable. It was rough. I was in the hospital like 5-6 days.
Cancer's fun.
It's not, no. But I tell you what it's done for me. I had no idea about cancer. I mean, I knew the word.
Yeah.
I knew it did something. Okay. I knew there's a growth or something. I knew that.
Yeah.
But I had no idea what chemo was.
No, I know. It's torture.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Yeah. And listen, it was rough stuff. That stuff they put in you, I kept telling the doctor, I kept telling him, I don't think this is really medicine. I think what y'all are doing is taking some kind of spick and span cleaner stuff and mixing it up with water and shooting it in because it says it kills all germs. So I don't know what you're doing, but I listened to them without question. They said, this is what we're going to do. And when it came down to it, within a week after the MRI, it was like, I'm in surgery. They didn't play around. They were like, let's go.
They were good. And
they were good. They knew what they were doing.
And that's the thing with cancer, too. Like, if you don't catch it early, it's bye-bye.
Yeah. And I'll never, every test that I'd had up until surgery was negative. They'd even done that endoscopic thing where they go down and pull out negative. So here's what here was something, and it's amazing what your mind will lead you into. Okay. I was in the hospital. They of course took part of the pancreas out that had the growth on it.
Yeah.
Day 4, he comes in the room, the doctor, and he says, Jim, I got some bad news. And I went, yeah, so what else is new? What do we got? And he goes, Jim, we got the biopsy back, and it is cancer. Now, I want everybody for one moment to think about what would you say at that moment.
Yep.
What would you say to that doctor at that moment? Now, I'm going to tell you what I said. I want everybody to think about it. What would come to your mind? This is how weird I am. This came to my mind that quick. So I looked at him and I went, Doc, does that mean I shouldn't buy any more long-playing records?
Listen, everybody deals with things differently. Some people, humor is the way to do it.
But he didn't take it as humor. He was like, no, I'm not saying that. No. But I was laughing. That's the only thing I could. That's the only thing I could think of.
That's what works for you. And some people
it worked
cry.
for me.
Yeah, some people cry. Some people, panic. Some people just humor.
But I think the key to it all, I really do. I'm not saying it cures you. I think it helps you mentally. Is during the whole process, I joked about everything. I mean, I really did. And it wasn't me putting on a front.
Yep.
That was me. But it made me, I think it took away the stress of the worry, because there's no reason to worry. It is what it is. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. You can't control it, right?
Can't control it.
It's funny you just said what you just said, right? Because this morning, I'm taking a shower and I'm like, I'm going to make a Thanksgiving video because I'm tired of, my biggest thing is after going through everything I went through in life, I hate getting on the phone with people and I hear, like the other day I'm on the phone with somebody and this guy lives in a $3 million house. He's got a Rolls Royce in the driveway. He's got a bunch of other cars and he's complaining. And he's complaining to me about his life and he's whining about the whole thing. And I finally stopped him and I said, listen, I said, you got food on the table, you got a roof over your head, a really nice roof, you got cars that are paid off in the garage. He said, you got a business that's profitable. What the hell are you whining about? I said, I'm going to paint a picture for you. Imagine having your whole world ripped apart. Everything you knew, your business, your home, gone in a matter of 24 hours. I said, now you're wanted by the FBI. You're living on the run, trying to survive, keep a roof over your family's head, keep food on the table, while also trying to fight a case with no money. I said, or you're sitting in prison and you have no idea how your family's going to take care of yourself. I said, those are things. And I said, even during that time, guess what? When you called me, what was I doing? I'd smile, I'd laugh, I'd have a good time with you. Did I bitch and, did I, whine and complain about it like you are? I said, you're complaining about a good life. Just get over it. I said, you got to learn how to be thankful. And that's the problem with people. You got to sit there and say, you know what? I can't control this. Let's see how it goes. But make the best of it. Look for the positive in something instead of focusing on the negative.
It is what it's going to be.
Yep, exactly. You can't control it.
I can't control it. It's in somebody else's hands.
Yep, absolutely.
And it's in God's hands. And, he put me through that. And I came out of it with the idea, every day there's somebody on the news, the princess over in Great Britain got cancer, and Coach's wife with Oklahoma has it, and
more and more people are getting cancer.
More people are getting it, and let me tell you, every time I hear it, truthfully, this is the truth, I want to cry. Because I know, I know what I went through, that I was bulletproof. I had been sick at all.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, bam. And so, and now I feel sorry, and I want these people to know that have it. And I'm not talking about any coach's wife or any princess.
Yeah.
I'm talking about anybody.
Anybody.
Listen. Every night I pray that people with cancer, that they're touched, they're saved, they're healed, and they don't have to go through the pain and the agony and the stuff that my family went through. People don't realize that. My wife thought, when this came out, she thought I was going to die. Literally.
Yeah. No, I mean, listen, you hear everything. As you know, my sister's husband just passed away.
Yeah.
My sister's 4 years old.
Yeah.
And her husband was very young, and he got cancer, and his was so aggressive.
Yeah.
And he fought for 3 years. I think it was 3.5 years. He fought, and you saw like light at the end of the tunnel sometimes, and then it would just come crashing down.
Yeah. You go back and bam, it's worse than it was.
And,
yeah.
you know, I was waiting. You know, he wanted to come see me. The prison wouldn't let him come see me because he's my brother-in-law, so it would take 6 months to put him on the list or whatever. Not.
Yeah.
So he never got to see me. When I got out of prison, he picked me up from prison, and he started looking, you know, and he dropped me off at the airport so I can make it to Vegas. And he kept promising he was going to come to visit. And he was waiting to get a little healthier because he was on this new medication, whatever. And then I just remember one morning I got a phone call, and he said to me, he goes, "Bobby, it's over."
Yeah.
What do you mean it's over? He said, "I can't take the pain anymore." His pain had gotten so bad, nothing worked for him. No matter what they gave him.
Morphine, they try that. Yeah.
Yeah. And he told the doctors that morning, he said, "Just give me the medicine, and I just want to be gone." And I flew to New Jersey, and I literally watched this man basically just die because they cut off all food, they cut off everything.
You can't eat.
And they can't eat. And they gave him this medicine. They just kept giving him more and more of it just to put him to bed. And I watched the man in 3 days just go from talking to me to passing away.
Same thing with my wife, with my aunt. She had the same thing, and I went over to visit her, and she could hardly talk. I mean, it was horrible. So I guess the message I want to send out is not about me.
Yeah.
It's about don't give up hope.
No, you can't.
You
cannot give up.
Don't ever give up hope. Don't blame. You know, God did not create cancer, man did. God did not create AIDS, man did. Okay? God did not create COVID, man did. And we've got to live with that. And, you know, but I learned a lot, and I saw, you know, every day I'd go get my chemo, there'd be 20 people in there.
Yeah.
And you know what? Amazingly, they were all in good spirits.
Yeah.
It wasn't like they were like, "Oh, woe is me," you know. No, they were, you know, they'll talk to you and, you know, "Hey, how you doing?"
If you're gonna have any chance, if you know, it's like anything, right?
Yeah.
It's in your mind. You ever notice like somebody's totally fine, and all of a sudden, the moment they find out that they have cancer, when they mentally shut down, they're done. They're gone like in 6 weeks.
Yeah.
But if you say, "You know what? I'm gonna fight this," it's like anything.
I'm gonna take it.
I'm gonna fight.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, it goes in your line of work, too. You have defendants that get charged, and then all of a sudden, they mentally check out.
Yeah.
And they can't fight. They don't have the fight in them. And then there's the people that are sitting there, "I'm going to fight this."
I'm there. I'm with you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, you know, I want to close this out. You know, I told you that my wife thought that I was going to die. And she voiced that to me at one time. And I looked at her and I went, "Honey, I am not going to die." And she said, "How do you know that?" And I said, because I'm not through pissing you off. So listen, I know this is kind of a terrible show to do, but for all you people out there, you know, that are going through something like this, listen. There are people like me, not just me, but there are people like me that have gone through it, and I'm telling you, they're praying for you. They're thinking about you, even though we don't know your name.
Yep.
We know what you're dealing with. And listen, I tell people, you know, friends, I said, look, somebody the other day said, my friend just got diagnosed with cancer. I said, tell him to call me. Let me tell you what's fixing to happen, and the best I can tell you, and that way it eases up on the fear of what.
Exactly. Only a person that's gone through it knows what people are going to expect.
But again, to all my doctors, you know, I can tell you right now, they were great, and they were tremendous, no matter what happened.
Yeah, well, that's a good thing, and that's, you know, you're lucky to have that, because a lot of people don't get the doctors. But you know what? This is perfect for Thanksgiving, right? Be thankful.
I am.
Be thankful,
and that's why I wanted to do it today. Yeah. It's right before the day that if there's ever anything that any of us that have had cancer could be thankful for, it's thankful that somebody there that can help us, not just doctors, but, you know, God gave them the brilliance and the smarts and the know-withal of how to treat it and what to do with it. And look, I can't say enough for what God has done for me, and I hope He does the same thing for everybody.
Well, we hope you're here for a long time.
Look, I'm not through pissing her off yet. I got a lot more to go.
I hope you're pissing her off. And there's another Vegas trip on your agenda soon.
Exactly. I got to do that too. You're right.
Absolutely.
So, Bobby, I didn't mean to get into a bad, but I hope it turns out.
But this is good. I mean, look, it's Thanksgiving, so we're talking about
being thankful for. No matter.
Yeah.
Be thankful.
I mean, this year's a big thankful. This is big Thanksgiving for me. I'm very thankful. This time last year, I was sitting in federal prison.
That's right.
This year,
and last year I was in a hospital, and so I mean, we all have the things that are burdens.
Yep.
But somehow or another, you know what? We came through it, and you and I had a great time in Vegas.
We're fighters, right?
Yeah, baby.
All right, guys. I hope you have a happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Enjoy. Be thankful for what you have, and focus on the positive, not the negative. This was just an episode. We just want to chit chat and tell you, stay positive, basically.
Exactly. God bless.
All right, guys. Enjoy. Make sure you watch the other videos. Take care.
Goodbye.